Dr. Tenpenny, let's talk about vaccines a little
Oh gosh.
bit. Good topic, huh?
How many hours do we have to cover this one?
I know for a fact that my kids right now got a lot more than I did when I was their age. Are these safe?
No. Next
Next
question.
question.
Let's talk about the age of there for a second, because that really is a big deal. Because parents will say, well, I don't remember getting a lot of vaccines when I was a kid. And the truth of the matter is, you didn't. As recently as 1985, so anyone born before 1985 only had 3 vaccines. There was DPT, which is diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, MMR, which is measles, rubella, and measles, mumps, and rubella, and polio. That was it. There were 3 vaccines. Now there's 16. And there's multiple doses of all 16 of those. So the difference is that back then, if you added up all those vaccine antigens, like MMR is 3 vaccine antigens with 1 shot. DPT is 3 vaccine antigens in 1 shot. Polio actually has 3 viruses in it. So it's really 3 viruses in 1 shot. Well, each one of those individual viruses are called antigens. And if you added up all the sum total of antigens that children got before 1985, if they got all of those vaccines, they got 33 vaccine antigens injected into them by the time they started kindergarten. Up through 2010, they got 156 vaccine antigens, and now there's been more vaccines added since then. And so it just goes on and on. There are measurable amounts of chemicals. There are milligram amounts of gelatin in the MMR and in the chickenpox vaccine. There are 63 different types of chemicals in these vaccines. Now, not each vaccine has all 63 chemicals, but if you get all the vaccines, you get doses of 63 different types of chemicals, some of which are known carcinogens, some are known to cause asthma, the list is endless. Mercury is mostly out of most of the vaccines, but it's not out of all of them. It's still in the multi-dose flu shots that we start giving infants at 6 months of age. And we give them every year and all the way through their life. So you're still getting doses of mercury. There's tons of aluminum. When I say tons, I mean milligram amounts. I mean, that's measurable amounts. It's not trace little amounts. And back when the whole thing about vaccines and mercury got started several years ago, the mercury moms did a really great job of putting that on everybody's radar screen. And we started talking an awful lot about the milligram amounts that these babies were getting. They would get 88 milligrams of mercury injected into them if they got all doses of the mercury-laden vaccines. And the government went, oops, somebody forgot to do the math. And that's exactly what happened. So back in 2004, when that was all going on, the government didn't say to the pharmaceutical industry, pull all those vaccines off the market and remake them. They said, as you make new ones, replace the mercury. So it just went out by attrition. So all of those kids up through about 2006 were still getting doses of mercury in each vaccine. When the mercury thing became a really big deal, I said, yes, it's a big deal. But I felt a lot like the voice in the wilderness standing off to the side going, it's not just the mercury, because it's aluminum and chemicals and all these vaccine antigens, all these viruses and bacteria, stray viruses that are known to cause cancer. I mean, all kinds of gobbledygook inside of these things. And I think that most parents and even most physicians who've never bothered to read a package insert in their life think that all that is in there is a little bit of sterile water, a little bit of attenuated or killed virus. That's it. How can it hurt you? And I can say I was guilty of that as the next person. I mean, I was the director of an emergency department for 12 years, and I used to give out tetanus shots like I thought they were a special kind of candy. Little's good, little more is not going to hurt you. Better to err on the side of getting it than not. How wrong was I? And once I started doing this investigation, and I've spent more than 12,000 hours and 11 years of my life investigating this. So anybody that has a question, I'm your girl. Anybody who wants to debate me, I'm your girl. Because there is nobody that has dedicated as much time in their life, mostly uncompensated time, to get the information out to protect our children and our adults. We spend so much time talking about vaccines in children because of this heavily loaded vaccination schedule that happens up through 5 years of age. But there are vaccine-injured adults all over the place. I have actually testified for several in federal court because they get the pneumonia shot, they get flu shots, they get hepatitis B. The military gets about 26 different kinds of vaccines and multiple doses of it and investigational vaccines. So vaccine-injured adults are real too.